Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the 312 Squadron podcast. My name is Andrew Kouba.
My name is Nick Sperry.
And my name is Tom Veale.
And we are here talking another exciting week of X-Wing. We have Tom Veale from the 312 Team League here with us today, but also winner of the 312 Conquest Series, the Crumpet Conquest, talking with us today a little bit about that. And then we are going to get into some more general observations we're having as we start developing this new meta. But without further ado, let's talk about the exciting Team League, 312 Team League, where we didn't really get to talk too much about the end of that season. And I think that would be a great place for us to kick it off. So, Nick and Tom, how did we arrive there at this final end?
maybe we should go back to the start, Nick.
Where did it all begin? Well, in 1997, I was born. It go all the way back to the beginning. The Team League we've had 3 seasons now of our online league. It's really basically kind of inspired by the team format, having a team in X-Wing, as we've seen from the X-Wing team championships, as well as Greg's long time running with the Nickel City X-Wing Draft League. Wanted to create a basically a community league series where people can come together and play on the same team and kind of back each other up and do list building together and practices and all that. And so we've done 3 seasons now. The latest is by far been the biggest. It's had almost 130 players. We had 18 teams. We had 4 divisions and 2 conferences, and we had an 8-week regular season and then followed by a 4-week playoff series. So Tom's team, Tom, what was your team's name?
It was a glorious name. We were Tom's Wankers. If you don't
How
know
did
what
you
that
get that
word
name,
is.
Tom? How
Well,
did that name come together?
well, Nick graciously gave it to us. We were struggling to come up with a name. And then you so eloquently put it that we should be called Tom's Wankers, and the name fits all too well, to be honest. So that's what we went with.
It just stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, it just
It's
stuck.
yeah, there was a lot of especially the last few weeks of the
Oh my god.
playoffs, there were a lot of references to, taking matters into your own hand.
Yeah. Don't stop the
Just
wank or
every sort
whatever.
of wank reference that you could imagine. It was
Or
quite
was it
not
the
family
wank
friendly
melon? Was it
place.
the wank melon or whatever it was from Joe? That
Yeah,
god
yeah, Joe
awful.
Melon. Yeah,
Yeah.
terrible.
Incredible.
It was a vibe though. I mean, the team league went really well. You guys had a lot of fun. Your team, obviously, you guys were stacked, even with your independent players, Walter and Taylor. Both of them kind
Yeah.
of randomly assigned to you guys did really well. Both very competent X-Wing players, and it seems like you guys had a really good time. And I think it went to 4 games when the series was decided. Every week you have 5 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I did my 5th game just for, if there were any doubts that we weren't going to win the league, just wanted to stamp that out.
There you
Uh,
go.
but
Yeah.
did you enjoy me creating our logo? Did you like the logo
It
we
was
made?
it's probably one of the best parts of the team league is how unserious it is in a lot of ways, despite it still being competitive. But the team names and the logos is one of the best parts of it. And your
Yeah.
guys' was by far the worst.
Oh
It
yeah.
was low res, it was poorly photoshopped,
Oh
it
yeah.
was pretty much everything I could have ever dreamed of in
It was brilliant.
having. It was great. And fun fact, Twitch does not like the word wanker, so
No, it doesn't.
I had to be very clever with when I'd put the teams that were playing for our streams, how to put your guys' team on Twitch.
Forever causing
It
you a
was
headache, right?
yeah, it was great. Yeah, good stuff. It was a exhausting process running the league and playing in it all at the same time, but it was
Oh
great
god.
content. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be taking a break before we do another one later in the year. And Andrew, maybe you'll be around to jump in on that. I know you've been playing a lot more online X-Wing.
Yeah, I'll definitely be
Yeah,
there for that.
it was great though. I mean, shout out to Eric and Tony. Eric, basically, he's like a spreadsheet guru. He created this incredible master spreadsheet that tracked everything, including faction statistics and performance, and how we rank the players in terms of their, games
How we
won and
wank the
everything like
players? Did you
that.
say? Sorry.
Wankings and not rankings, but wankings after
Wankings.
you guys won And yeah, so just wanted to mention that. Obviously, the team league isn't something we talked about too much, but Tom is here as a guest because of his most recent victory, but his team winning the team league. They're now the third different team to win one of our team leagues, and we'll see if they can pull a repeat if they come back, or if we
Easy.
can stop the wank, if as they
No, you
say.
can't stop the wank. Once it started, you just can't stop.
But yeah, you might there might be an addiction in there involved at that stage.
That's more of a reflection on my players than myself. It's
Oh
their
yeah,
addiction.
that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that's great. Sounds like you got yourself into quite a sticky situation.
Yeah. Every week. Every week.
Well,
Couldn't get out of it.
Tom, you and Andrew both played in the. This is my attempt at a segue. In the Crumpet Conquest, which Andrew and I got up. We're in the same time zone here. We're both in Chicago, of course, and got up real early to play slash run an X-wing tournaments, and it was a bank holiday for you guys,
Yep.
which apparently wasn't really a factor until a couple weeks before. Then people were reminding me of that, as if I could move it.
And it was one of the nicest weather
No,
days.
honestly, it depends on the person. Like me, like you said, like me and Rory were like, I literally couldn't care less what the weather was. We're going to play X-wing. When then there are some other people who are like, oh, we only get sun in England once a year, so we're going to go over and do that. But no, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I definitely think we could have gotten a
Yeah,
bigger turnout, but the turnout was pretty good still.
yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunate because the first conquest, the Windy City conquest, numbers were really great. Turnout was really great. We had about 60 people. That was on Easter weekend, which of course, doesn't impact or affect everybody because it's a religious holiday. But
Sure.
just a little unlucky with the first two being on holiday weekends for folks. So, high hopes to continue the climb, getting more and more folks to play moving forward. But with that said, I wasn't disappointed per se. I was hoping for a few
No.
more players, but I think we had a late push that ended up getting us close to 40 people, which not too bad.
Yeah.
And a
It was a good
decent amount of
size for what it
people in the
is, right?
US. Yeah, decent amount of them
Yeah.
were US players, which was really funny.
Also, like, not that many drops either. So everyone really played it to the end, which is great too.
Yeah, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops, which
Yep.
is
That's it.
pretty good. And we had, yeah, of course, a few people that weren't able to show up on time. It always happens. That's all right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, curious, Tom, like, you had messaged me basically confidently be like, well, I gotta win this thing, and you did. So congratulations on rigging it in your favor and pulling out
I
the win. But what you're
mean,
usually
it's
a CIS player, right? So what was
Yeah.
your mindset going into playing in this, and like the
Um.
list that you decided to bring?
So as you probably know, I've been flying the same list since XWA came out with their first points. It's a pretty solid list. I've won a handful of things now with it, without tooting my own horn. But obviously with the new SLs coming out, um, people have been sort of got a massive hard on for Scum at the moment, and rightly so. It's really really strong, and I haven't had much practice into it, so I thought, well, I'll just take the list that I'm going to be using for subsequent team events. Like we're going to the WTC. This is likely the list I'm going to use for that. Potentially with England XTC, potentially going to use this list as well. Um, so it's sort of a testing field for me. And I got to play against 3 scum lists, which was great. Put them all in their place, which is equally great. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to go uh, 4-0 and win it. I mean, I'd back myself to do that, but I wasn't expecting it. So it was nice to be able to do it. Yeah.
How do you
Do you,
feel about CIS
oh,
after
sorry.
the tweak that
It's
XWA points?
how do I feel about CS?
Yeah, just like, I
Um,
mean, clearly still pretty good, right? Like,
I think
good
it's
faction.
always a faction that is going to favor like a niche group of people. It's never the highest like it's quite a high performing faction, but you never get the amount of people playing it. So I think this is a prime example. There were 2 separatist players in this tournament, and 2 of them were in top 4. So but I don't think it's a faction like anyone could pick up. Um, I think there's a lot of prep that goes into it personally. Um, but I mean, I think they're definitely strong, not to say the least, which is nice. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely feels like a faction where you're rating the player versus the actual faction itself.
like,
right.
don't get me wrong. Like, I think that list that was, oh, it was going around for ages. It was when the HMPs were super undercosted, and you had like CAD and Dirge, and you had that 6 ship list. I think that was a bit user friendly. And I'm sort of glad the 3-point HMPs were sort of gone, because they were just you were just getting too much bang for your buck across the faction. I think it's a little tailored out a bit now, um, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of factions themselves, I mean, CIS and CIS obviously, as you mentioned, only two factions or two people brought CIS and Crumpet, double the amount of FO players, which we'll get to as we already had our little soapbox about FO our last episode. But FO, its turnout was worse than I had hoped for this one, and not as many people playing in this one, but still worth noting. But we're seeing Scum continue to be favored when it comes to quantity of scum lists being brought.
Hmm.
25%, Empire second, 22, Republic 20%, and Rebels all the way in fourth. And Resistance is funny. It's really Resistance, CISFO, all rounding out the
I f-
back
yeah,
of the totem pole when it comes to number of lists brought for this one.
I feel
Um,
like Empire always has a good showing. Everyone just likes flying Empire, right? That's always been
Yeah.
the case. Um, but I don't think they've ever been particularly bad either. So that's sort of
No,
probably
yeah, it would be really concerning if Empire was like fifth or fifth place
sure.
or beyond. That would be very bizarre. And a lot more Empire. As I was looking through during check-in for this, that I was seeing people brought a lot more Empire than I expected. Um,
Yeah,
Republic tapered off, Resistance tapered off, and then unfortunately FO is it's difficult to really when you're not being given a sample because people don't want to play it. It's difficult to make
I
hypotheses about the faction, despite maybe that is enough to say
I
something about it.
Yeah,
I
I
exactly.
don't know.
I don't know how bad in parentheses FO actually is. I definitely think they have some good pieces. Um, I think, like you said, it's hard to tell because you don't have the sample size. No one's playing it. Maybe it's just because Scum has all these exciting new pieces, and I know FO has new pieces, but I don't like. I'd rather fly the new Boba Fett than my favorite Star Wars character, Omega 3 or whatever it is. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's I think there is some element of that.
Yeah, Scum has better branding for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that it's also to like the Scum SL cards, and same thing with the Resistance SL cards, is that they're exciting, and I would say that they're a little bit more obvious. FO, I think, is still that faction that needs a little more work to get the most out of it, and you can really even see that in some of the SL design. Their
Yeah.
SL design is still like a little quirky.
I
Um,
think they're really good.
they
And
are very good.
yeah,
LeHugh's is great, just great. Double modded attacks and great chassis for it as well. And Omega 3 is also really good. Like, I don't think they're bad by any stretch of the imagination.
no. I just think it's going to take some time to figure it out. And
Yeah.
sort of like how Separatist is, I think FO's always been that sort of faction as well that has a lower player count but a higher
Oh, for
skill.
sure.
So
Very
it's,
niche. Still very
yeah, very
niche.
niche. And I think we'll probably see that.
Yeah.
Tom, what was your list though that you brought? Because like, can you
Oh
break
yeah.
down
Well,
the
do you know
list
the name
itself?
of my list, Nick?
It doesn't say it in. Hold
Oh, it
on, go
doesn't
to roll
say.
better. Hold on. Roll better will tell me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can say
Yeah,
it, but I don't know
yeah.
if I
Well,
want
it's Sun Fac Yamum,
some fact your mum.
MUM.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
always every list with some fact in it is called that because that's just what he does best. Uh, so, but so my list is Sunfac with gravitic targeting computer, ensnare, and predator. I mean, Sunfac just causes people headaches. Um, people have PTSD. I feel like playing against Sunfac, and I sort of like the
Yes.
fact that people just get really annoyed by seeing Sunfac on the other end of the table. Yeah, that gives me great pleasure.
Yeah, there is an intimidation factor there for
There
sure.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. And then when they go down the rest of the list, they probably just get more and more annoyed because we have standard loadout Grievous,
Yeah, like, and that's the combo. Like, what a combo, Sunfac and Grievous.
Sunfac and Grievous, and then 3 proximity bomber bombardment drones. Just a super strong collective, to be honest. I sort of fly them as one piece in a way. That sort of
Hmm.
kind of, yeah, people just get
Yeah.
triggered by
You
them,
you you
and rightly
throw them
so.
at your opponent too.
Oh yeah,
You just
absolutely.
throw them. Yeah.
But I sort of like the bomber drones in this list with Sunfac, because Sunfac becomes a little bit more versatile. He's not just a sort of hunt down your small base ships. He sort of becomes a support ship as well in the earlier stages, where you can sort of fling your proxy bombers into positions that are advantageous to you. Sort of help with repositioning your ships as required. And I sort of like that because getting some back in too early, which I've done a few times myself. I think I did it on stream. Is you can get him killed, so you sort of want to mop up with some fac a little bit. And I just like how versatile he is in the list. And then to round it out, I have Doofus with Independent. He's basically just a calc battery, and he just is amazing on assault if you get the rock placement right. But yeah, 6 ship separatist list, does a lot of damage. Is quite tanky in some places. Is a pain in the bum to deal with. But like I think I have like something like 60, 70 reps with this list now. So it's
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 pretty
not an
good. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
lot of reps.
it's not an easy list to fly either, I don't think. I think you've got to get a lot right. I think also as well, on the other side of that, if you play someone who doesn't know how to fly against it, you can sort of railroad people. Um, but in those like high skill games, it's still really tough to get right. Like
Yeah.
people who know what they're doing, it's a really tough game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at our breakdown here for our top cut. Of course, you first place with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6 ship list, and obviously DFS 311 is such a game changer too. Just passing
Yeah, I love him.
calculates, sitting on rocks. People don't want to bother. Um, and you things almost did go terribly wrong for you in that final table game. The opening was
So
Yeah.
a little
yeah,
concerning, but you rebounded a little bit. You were able to basically peel away different parts of your list to
yeah,
block up. But essentially, what it was looking like was Sunfac was going to die in the second. I think it was in the second
yeah.
engagement.
I highly
Took a
messed up some
procket,
fuck.
took a lot, and he somehow didn't die. And then he ended up dying in a way that no one expected. I think it was like a bump, a
Oh, this
misdial
was
or
the
something.
first my first stream. That was the first stream game
Oh,
against
was it?
Rory.
Okay. No,
Hmm.
no. But
Yeah,
something happened in no, against System Error, you took a couple. I think you took 1 or 2 prockets. That was
he
what's
died
up
very
back in that
quickly.
game.
I
Hmm.
traded
Yeah.
for Corrin, I think, and I was a bit
That's
like,
right.
oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that wasn't great, and I got a bit too giddy, and you can't, it can't, and usually against rebels, I'm sort of like, Sunfac is really great against rebels, like, get him in, and I'm like, oh, no, that was a little bit overzealous.
Yeah.
I definitely made a few mistakes that game, but
But some choice proximity mine placements that really harass
Yeah.
system
No
error.
kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Like,
well,
I think two
there was a
ships
couple.
ate some prox mines in that game.
I really wanted Wedge to fall for the 5 straight for the. Uh, it was the proxy bomber that was on 1/2 of the structural or
hmm
2/2 of the structural, and I really thought he was just gonna like send it, and that's why I dropped the 2 out the back to see if I could just one-shot Wedge with the proxy bombs. I was really wanting him to do that, but he played that really well because he did the minimum move possible to not get hit, and then barrel roll boosted, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, no, it's boring.
Yeah. System Error, Miguel, he was your opponent in the final table. He brought a rebel list. I believe, let me double check. One of 2 rebel lists to make the top 8. Again, with the Conquest Series, top 8 players get an invite to the Global Conquest, which is a single day elimination tournament in December. Date TBD. But System Air brought a Fenrau, Corrin, Horn, Thane, Kyrell, Gina, Moonsong, Wedge until he's in the A Wing list. But you had one we had 2 proton rockets between Corrin and Thane. Fenrau had Predator and crack shots. You get that ace platform
Yeah.
with the ability to reposition into re-rolls and to cancel a die or a defense die. And then Gina, really kind of a sneaky part of the list in the sense that she can just, line up a proton cannon while you're too busy trying to avoid getting procketed. You
She's
might
the
end up
annoying
in
girlfriend,
Gina's
right? She just
bullseye.
passes your stress off onto everyone else, you know.
She is the annoying. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
she's the
actually a great,
I
great little
can't take
analogy
credit for
there.
it.
Yeah.
As Daniel Athe always calls her the annoying girlfriend. Uh,
Yeah, what was your thought process going against that list when you saw him bring that? Obviously, he did really well. He's a good player.
yeah.
You were giddy about the prospect of being able to have Sunfac do Sunfac
Um,
things, but
I don't
what was
like
the biggest challenge with that game?
it's a high it's a high damage list. I was really worried that he could take a proxy bomber off or two very very quickly. So it came down to turn zero for me. Well, personally, I felt like he spread his list out too much. Um, which would have favored like an initial engage, but maybe he was worried about because it was assault claiming objectives. So when he put wedge off to the side, I was like, well, or I think I can't remember if I placed first or not, but like having him sort of like be preoccupied with Grievous was really good for me. Um, and then I was sort of focused on getting bumps on that initial engage, not the stupid range 3 shot that I double blanked out or whatever it was, which was really annoying. But uh, not that one. But basically trying to limit his proton rockets and claim as many objectives as I can, because once you get the proxy bombers in, that's where the damage starts getting done. Not even placing the proxies, just the threat of having them. I think after turn one or whatever, Fen pretty much did fuck all when I um, turned out the proxy bomber and it stopped. He basically two hearted with Fen and couldn't roll back in, so he had to roll out, and it delayed him for another couple of turns, which was really big. Um, but yeah, it was sort of just isolating pieces, and um, when he spread out his list, it made that easier. That's essentially all it was. I think he needed to get rid of the proxy bombers fast, and that didn't happen. So that led me um,
Yeah.
an
And
advantage,
it
really.
still came down to the last round because
Yeah.
he rolled out of a shot that we all kind of assumed with Gina on one hole that Gina was gonna die from, and then you nattied
Oh my.
with a unmodded shot from
Yeah.
a behind from the bombardment drone to clinch the victory. But it really did come down to just a few points in the end. And one thing that I noticed, system error, when he had his wedge facing off at the bottom of the board all the way across the board from
Hmm.
Grievous, there was a moment where he opted to not boost. This was assault that you guys are playing, to not boost into
Yeah.
range of an objective with wedge because he might have been worried about Grievous, and that also cost him pretty big later on in the game when he only needed a couple of points to get to 20. He had not. He played it too cagey with wedge in that turn, and
Yeah.
Grievous was doing his job.
So I thought that maybe he thought that I was gonna try bullying Wedge, by maybe like doing like a two bank barrel roll and be behind him. But I mean,
But
I
who
think
cares, right?
objectively I mean objectively I think that's wrong for me to do that. I like
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I think I tried to lay it out so well, I think I claimed both. I did a 5 straight boost focus with Grievous, which claimed both objectives and was engaging. Which was far stronger than obviously what he
Yeah.
did. But yeah, like you
I,
said, I think sometimes people need to think about what sort of the optimal thing is for your opponent to do in
Yeah,
a way.
exactly. I
Like,
mean, we talked about that in on the stream. I was like,
okay, yeah,
Grievous doing a bank towards Wedge here is so tactically bad that Grievous is out of the game for 3 rounds
yeah,
if he goes that direction. Because it's just if especially if he links actions and needs to clear his stress, like
absolutely,
he's out of the fight, and it just doesn't make any sense where he needs to go in and support the bombardment drones and support Sunfac. And
I
so yeah, it was just one of those moments, like you said, he was more so concerned about what could happen to him and less about what you wanted to do. And that's
yeah,
something that I think is the next level of X-Wing play for a lot of people, is starting to think about your opponents win condition per round, not just the total
oh,
win
agreed,
condition, but like
yeah.
what are they trying to do each round.
In fairness, I think it was quite close. Maybe he felt
Oh,
he
it's very
was in,
close.
which is fair. Like, I mean,
Mm.
sometimes in that case, do you want to just sort of Do you just want to ensure that you have it? And that comes with sort of like that's sort of a skill thing as well. Like I feel like I'm pretty on it with ranges, and knowing what's range one and what's not. So like having that knowledge would have let you make a better decision in a way. So um, but yeah, like in that case, I just didn't care what Wedge was doing. Wedge could have sat behind Grievous all game for all I cared, and potted shots at him. As long as Grievous was um, outputting damage onto the other parts of his list, I was pretty happy. But yeah,
Um, Now pivoting really quick, I want to get Andrew involved a little bit. Here with you and I, Andrew, we had a kind of a really interesting morning because we didn't really the days kind of blurred together. Like I wasn't able to deprive myself of sleep in advance to make it so that I could get a full
Uh,
night's sleep and wake up really early. So I just took like an hour long power nap and was like, you know what, I could survive this. It ended up being totally fine. I was really tired at the end of it, but it took a long time for the exhaustion to kick in.
yeah, for
What was it
sure.
like for you getting up super early to play X-Wing, and do you feel like that affected you or would have affected any of the US based players playing a game that involves a lot of thinking so early?
Yeah, well, so actually, I did pretty well in the sleep department. I ended up like taking a melatonin at 8 p.m. the night before. I made
Smart.
dinner, and yeah, I was kind of in bed by 9:30. So waking up at 2 a.m., I got a solid like 7 hours of sleep. But I went to Trader Joe's the day before. I bought crumpets, so I had those in the toaster. Had some
oh
coffee.
wow,
I was in a full Adidas tracksuit and put together a UK playlist, UK and Ireland playlist. So I had that ready to go.
He's more British
And
than you are, Tom.
I was gonna say yeah, that's pretty on it to be honest.
I was feeling it. Oh, I didn't have make coffee. I had tea. I had some Earl Grey
Okay,
brewing, and
So did I. I had Earl Grey as well. We didn't, yeah,
nice. Yeah, just
delicious.
leaned into it. I will say crumpets are amazing.
they are good.
They're so good. I put some orange marmalade on mine, but you're good with butter or like they're kind of like a big
I
pancake, so you can put syrup on there
oh
too.
yeah, I mean I always go for Marmite and cheese. That's always just
Oh,
Marmite is. I mean, it's a love it or
yes.
hate it thing. I'm sure some
I
people will
love
listen
it.
to this and go like, "What a fucking idiot! How could he like that?" And some people will just agree with it. So it's
You
really
didn't
good.
have your Mackies, your McDonald's,
I
Tom?
did, yeah. So at when we broke up for lunch, my pregnant wife was like, essentially, "Well, you're playing X-Wing all day. You're gonna buy me some fucking food." And I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." So we all hopped in the car and got our Mackies.
Yeah, easy trade.
Yeah, it was fine by me, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, your pregnant wife too.
yeah. Just to put that
Yeah.
in there. I mean, she would say that regardless whether she was pregnant or not. Like, to be fair,
Andrew, did you bring your Gorin list
uh,
again, or did you opt for
yeah.
something else?
I played it. It was a Gorin list, but it was a different variation of it.
Okay.
Gorns
How'd you
morons,
feel
isn't it?
about that versus your last one, the Windy City Conquest one that you brought?
I mean, I did. I mean, I went 2-2 this time, about the same. I feel okay about it. I was expecting to see more scum. I was expecting to play against more scum this time around than I actually did. Uh,
Isn't it amazing how that works? Like I
yeah,
always
that
I forgot I've actually kind of ditched that mindset of being like, this is what I expect to play against, because it never happens. Ever. It never happens. You can expect what
Yeah,
to see if you do encounter
I
that
got my
faction,
dream.
but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and it turned out being okay. One game that I lost was very close. Probably even though I had lost it, very proud with how I did because I started off the game in a really rough spot where my opponent was able to one shot Magnetolvin and two shot Scimitar. Yeah, Scimitar one with the focus and evade, and was really behind in game two. But ended up coming back from it and was one dice roll away from winning the game. So definitely a lesson in not giving up on that one. Even though I didn't end up winning at it, I came from an 8 point or I mean, I came from a 9 point deficit to a
Wow.
point where I could have won the game.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So super happy with that. And I do feel though that getting the sleep was definitely a big help there.
I'm glad I didn't play. I
So
probably would have been in the salt mines if I was playing.
what
Yeah.
was the what was the rest of your list? Because me and Dom have been, I mean, I think Andrew Euler started playing Goron Goron's Morons as I call it back when Scythe 6 was 3 points. But me and Dom were talking about this list a lot because I think it's like probably you've identified as well is quite good into this meta.
Yeah.
Um, what's rounding out the rest of your list? Because like most of the stuff is obviously Goron, Scimitar 1, Magva, and some other pieces, but I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of variations of it.
Yeah, there's some ways that you can go. I went for the highest efficiency version of mine. So it has, Commandant Goran, Scimitar 1, and Magna Tolvin. And then I have Karsabi, which
Oh
is three
yeah.
points, the Alpha class Star Wing as a flanker. And then I
Hmm.
have Double Edge in the TIE Aggressor with the barrage rockets and dorsal turret. I kind of look at it as a little bit of a better TIE fighter. And then my
Yeah, yeah.
last one, I have Wampa as the 3 points, which
Oh,
as
you're.
a kind of like a matador with the red cape.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
if you don't go for it, it will mess you up. So you kind of have to consider Wampa as a part of it.
Well,
yeah,
this list also more low initiative for Gordon to take advantage of because I think your last list there was
Everything,
like you had Ubel in there. It was a
yeah.
little awkward for like using Goran's ability across the list, but this one Goran can have his pick of the litter.
Now, I will say with the last one though, the last one has more of it is a trade-off. Like the last one I was flying with Ubel and Faroff, like you have those bigger bases, so it makes assault a little easier. It has a little more staying power with its like individual pieces. And Goran doesn't really need to give the evades to Ubel, like and Countdown is usually too far away to really even do it to
It's
to
more about
have
the
justice.
locks, right?
It's
yeah,
more
I
about
it's both, I guess, but
sure. Yeah, but
yeah,
if they're shooting at those, then they're also not shooting at Scimitar. So that one it's more protecting
yeah,
Scimitar than anything. Um yeah.
yeah.
that's a
I've been
solid
trying
list.
in. Yeah, I've been trying in that 3 point slot. Is it Erica Quill, the one where if you do a
Yeah.
maneuver, you get a bullseye? But I've been taking clusters on her, just so basically you get the lock, have the focus, and then you have a 3 dice gun no matter what.
Yep.
Is was pretty solid.
That's a good call too, for sure.
Yeah, that I've enjoyed quite a bit. Because
I
people,
I oh sorry, continue.
no, you're all good. I was just saying people always go for prockets on her, which doesn't make sense to me. But
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
Rockets are fun,
she wants I
I
mean, but
guess.
trying to line up a bullseye when it comes time to shoot at I3 is just that's a prospect
Oh,
you
yeah,
can do it, it's
for
just so
sure.
hard. I mean, I would go for that in a meta where there's a lot more large base ships and you could
agreed.
kind of do
Yeah.
that. I mean, I do remember when Yuriko first came out, I had one of my favorite X-Wing memories was I got to like one shot Wedge with a procket on her. Uh which was just which was fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that I love the idea of cluster missiles though.
Yeah, it's a
Kind
really
of
good.
a double tap there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I took disciplined and the one that lets you do the sloopy barrel, the sloopy bendy. What are they called? Signor's loops or
Oh,
whatever instead of the K turns, so you
the
can line that bullseye up a bit better.
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
the
cause
precision ion engines?
after you're done like unloading plasmas and stuff, you can use Magva to coordinate the focus, do the sloop, get the lock, and do it that way as well. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, what would you guys say? Well, I guess Andrew, you can really answer this one, so I'll ask you because Tom didn't play in the first one. But what was the biggest difference in terms of player feel from the first conquest? Maybe not about your performance or your list, but more so just how the conquest or tournament felt from between the first one and this one. How would you
I mean, I'll say
describe it?
for me this felt like tougher, like a lot tighter. And as a competitive field, like the caliber of players was very high.
Yeah, I would agree, especially when you have
Just
the 2024 world champ in top eight as well.
yeah. No, I mean, I will say this time around, like every single one of my games felt like I was playing them on a nice edge. Like I was definitely on my toes the entire time. The games that I won were also really close. Could have gone either way.
Interesting you say that because this is the first year of a couple European conquests, and obviously, I think a lot of X-wing players think of European X-Wing players as being pretty good.
Mhm.
And so I'm not surprised to hear that it felt
I was
more
like,
difficult
that's been my
considering the field.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had Corentin in here who won the last Sith Taker Open, not the not the one, the latest one, but the one before a year ago.
Yeah.
Um, I know that
Illy
Dom
was my
Flanagan
last
won
opponent of
most
the game,
recently.
and
Yeah, Illy 2024 World Champ. I mean, I know all these guys, a lot of the people in here who played in
or no,
here.
sorry, Indar was my last opponent, not Illy. But Illy, yeah, Illy, amazing
Yeah,
competitor too.
Indar's also very
Epionic,
good.
Indar, yeah.
yeah,
I haven't lost that badly in a long time. He
yeah.
destroyed every ship in my list. Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal.
It's a good
Um,
Republic list, to be fair. It's still really
Oh,
strong.
super
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, Republic is doing well, and I'm just gonna really quickly rifle through the rest of the
Or
top 8 as we covered you in System Error.
yeah, and then Indar was flying Resistance,
Yeah, nice to
Oh, yes,
see
sorry.
but
nice
it's
to see
still
Resistance get coverage
really
because
good. Yeah.
we got let's see, we got ironically, we got Scum and First Order shot out of top 8. Um,
Good. Keep the scum out.
yeah, Epionic though, Epionic did finish 3-1, which because of SOS, he wasn't able to make top 8, but he does get honorable mention as he did bring
I mean,
Scum.
if it wasn't for Corentin bringing Empire, 50% of the playing field would have been, this just two factions alone would have been shut out at top 8.
Whew.
There's only one Empire list that made it.
And so Oscar Ice finished third. He had a 5-ship Republic list with a 212th Battalion Lats, Oddball in the V-Wing with Plasma Torps,
Oh,
Plo Koon.
sorry, that's who I mixed up. I
Mhm.
mixed up Indar and Oscar Ice. Yeah,
Yeah, I played Oscar. I played against Oscar before. I
he's
lost to
great.
him 20-19 in a league match. It was
Ooh.
Wow. That's
crazy game.
close.
Yeah. Uh, Plo Koon with R4P CLT, Rick Ollie with Juke R7A7, and then Anakin in the Y Wing with his dorsal plasma torps, veteran turret gunner, R4 ion bombs. Again, a lot of the lats provide the rerolls. Plo Koon provides the double mods. It's just very Swiss Army knife. Hits hard, high initiative.
Can we talk
Oscar
about
Ice really good at leveraging that.
my favorite list that was brought? List number 17. Have you seen it?
Let me finish top 8 and then I will look at list number 17.
You'll enjoy it.
Okay. JP Gonzalez, the other CIS player, and also the other player who made top 8. That's pretty cool. The winner and the second of 2 CIS players both doing well in this tournament. He brought a let's see, a 7-ship CIS
Yeah,
list.
I
Grievous,
played him.
Cad Bane.
He was his loss was dealt by me. Yeah, that
Oh,
so
wow.
Oh,
which is awkward. We could have had two undefeated separatist players potentially.
yeah.
But you had to
That would have
fight
been
each
a
other.
wild game.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
That's
had
so
to, yeah.
funny.
It was a
For
wild
the
game.
streamer side in me was happy to see that I didn't have to stream CIS versus CIS, but
That's fair.
that's just me. But he had two HMPs in this list. I would hope. I doubt he did, but I would hope because the custom ships painted for this one were the 4 different parts of the UK as HMP gunships that he would have used one of those paint jobs. But I doubt he did because he's anti-fun, is what I'm saying. I'm sure maybe he did.
He's
I
also
don't know.
from
You would
Chile.
know, Tom.
So he's not
He
even
should
from
have
the
used the
UK.
thing. He should have used the thing. I made a player on our stream last night use one of our paint jobs. He was fine with it, but I was like, oh, why not? That he had a couple of vultures, 3 vultures as well, 081, DFS 311, and a Horshall prototype. So yeah, a couple of them energy shells. One of them, 081, had Discord missiles because that's an SOC
Hmm.
vulture. Then Andrew mentioned Corentin. He brought a 4-ship AC Imperial list. We got Proton Rocket Vader, 6-point X1 Vader, custom Vader with prockets, passive sensors, and predictive shot. Pretty nasty. Vader's like, oh no, I didn't get bullseye because I moved first. Biatch, I got my lock, and now I'm gonna barrel roll. Pretty good. BOE soon tier. Whisper, it's pretty standard target computer fifth brother, and then Echo with outmaneuver and ruthless, which you got to watch out for Echo with that bendy, that kind of bendy decloak that Echo likes to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Outmaneuver is a good pairing.
two phantoms too.
Yeah, that's a cool. That would have been a cool list to get. That's on me
He's
for
just
not
so good
streaming that.
though. Like he could fly anything, do
Yeah,
well. Let's be honest.
yeah, he really is. He's super good. And we got Indar playing a 5-ship resistance list. Zori, ZZ, Finn, Poe. This is Heroes of Hope Poe with the smaller amount of loadout, and Scythe Renali, which is a evacuation of Dakar Scythe Renali. Uh, I'm not super familiar with. I think it's the same ability with regarding gaining evade tokens and you fly over people, but I'd have to
Yes,
double
yeah,
check
it
Yeah,
that.
is.
I think it's got bendy barrel rolls as well.
It
With
does.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, that's the one. But hey, Illy, 2024 world champ, brought a Jan Ors list for
what
Rebels. That's just awesome.
what a dude.
So legendary Jan Ors only can take Moldy Crow. One of the reasons why I as a Rebel player myself, I gave Jan a shot, just not for me, without being able to take any loadout. But we know her power level and what she's able to do for a list. She's also just in a pretty bad chassis, so you have to be mindful of how you set her up and where you put her. But
Mhm.
she's surrounded by Blount, Wedge in the A wing, Arvel in the A wing with intimidation, Sabine in the A wing, and then Zeborelios, a nice budget 3 dice gun in the attack shuttle with the Phantom title and an ion cannon turret for the extra coverage.
I think
Illy
the
getting his invite at number 7.
I think the ion cannon is the secret sauce of that list. There's something like being able to ionize and hook up Arvel with intimidation and stuff like that. I feel like it's a really big sort of thing to try and pull off.
Yeah. And Andrew, how many U.S. System Error is a U.S. based player, but so far going through this top 8, we don't have another U.S. player. I don't believe Indar is from the United States. I wouldn't.
No.
You would know. Maybe Tom, do you know if Indar
Poland.
is from the U.S.?
He's
He's
Polish,
from
I'm pretty
Poland.
sure. Yeah.
Poland. Oh, he's Polish.
Yeah.
Okay, so him and Oscar Ice are Polish players. So that representation's great. Illy is from Germany.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Teddy Roosevelt, so clearly a US player with a name like that. My boy Tyler. Seen Tyler's come up and played in our tournaments many times, and he
Representing Illinois.
uh represented Peoria, Illinois, number 8. Uh getting in there with a 5-ship Republic list, bringing Ada to Anakin and Obi-Wan. I believe I got the chance to stream him round 1. It was a fun game against playing against Empire. And he's got Plo Koon, that CLT, Patience, Compassion, Plo. And then his favorite pilot in X-Wing, Wolf, in the Arc 170. He loves Wolf so much with R4P, Synced Console, and SOC Jag. So hard to kill. Plo, Obi,
Yeah.
Anakin, hard to kill. Wolf, Jag, a lot of health, and could pick you apart.
Yeah. No, that's for
Number
sure.
okay, list number 17.
Go on. You'll love it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Alan
Oh yeah.
Barlow brought a 1, 2, 3, 4 Red Squadron bomber Republic Y-wing list with plasma torps and R4 astromech on all of them, and then 2 lats, both of them fitted with red tracers and sync consoles. Don't worry, he brought gas clouds. Yeah,
It's
there you
so
go.
you you literally can double mod both the thread chasers, right? Because of yeah, that's how it works, right? You
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
and
because the other
then
one gets the lock. Yeah.
get 2 shots at that and then just
It's so
loads of plasma
goofy.
torch.
Oh
It's
my
so
god.
goofy.
Also, so
Oh
much hull, crit mitigation. It's got everything you'd ever need
Oh,
in
it's
X-Wing. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
anything you
he
could ever want in X-wing. That's that's it.
went 2-2. Not bad, not bad. A list like that, I think you're on the cusp of being able to hit the ceiling at 3-1, or going 4. And he did a nice job of going 2-2 there.
I mean, the
I
one
saw
thing
it and
that
went,
your
oh.
yeah, the one thing your opponents don't want are shields.
This is why I don't run any,
Yeah.
except for Grievous.
Right, right. You're like, haha, you brought plasmas. Joke's on you. Yeah. It's also like it's been really beneficial playing rebels with the clan run volunteer fang fighters, and it just being like, yeah, it doesn't
Oh yeah.
matter. I don't care if you have plasmas. That actually helps.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of U.S. players played in this one, but we had got the European folks really did dominate. We had 2 out of 8 U.S. based, including System Error, second place finisher, who you were able to beat in final
Which
table, bringing his Rebel list, and Teddy Roosevelt with Republic. But
Like
I
going
will.
through the all the players, I was like, wow, this is quite a stacked tournament.
Yeah. No, it
It's
really
nuts.
is. I would say
yeah,
thematically though, it is fitting. I think it's
I had to
a
do it.
just conclusion to to the tournament for sure.
We'd never hear the end of it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If do you know what I
If you got
mean?
showed up by the
No.
Yanks, yeah.
Yeah, like a European could win it. That's fine, no issues. But I think I think it would have been pretty bad.
What
It's
I've
like,
what I've noticed with our the US based events that I've run, in the past, like our smaller scale tournaments, and then with the Windy City Conquest, is that we still get like Euro folks are used to having to adapt and just are used to having being forced to play in US based time zones for events,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
still do really well. And
Yeah.
so that those numbers, I will continue to see good turnout from Europe for the US based events despite their sleep. That's another reason why I calculated when setting up the schedule for all of these that they would only ever be on a Saturday, because even if you do forfeit a good night's sleep, you do get to make up for it on a Sunday, assuming you have a traditional work schedule or
sure, yeah.
in some way,
Yeah.
which helps,
Oh,
right?
big time. I
It
would
was
not
So,
have been in this one if it was on a Sunday.
but yeah, that would have been tough for everyone.
it was really nice having it on a UK time zone. To be honest, like it was sort of nice just getting up and being able to play. It
Yeah,
was
for sure.
so I
No.
appreciate that.
I I think
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, especially for something that's global like this, like you want that inclusivity.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
quite
I
nice
mean,
for us because we would have done the like. To be fair, if I was free on the day for the Windy City one, I probably would have done that as well because it's actually not that bad. Um, for us, I'd play late anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
it would be like afternoon for you,
yeah,
so
afternoon
right.
into evening,
Just
I'd be like,
midday.
yeah, cool.
yeah, but we've got another one coming up in July that's going to be the Pierogi Conquest, which will take place local to Warsaw. So the times it's UTC +2. So not the only one. Crumpet's not going to be the only one that will be
Nice.
more geared towards European players, and
Yeah.
hoping that we get a great turnout. I'm not sure what holiday that will be on, but I'm sure there'll be something out there somewhere just to keep that theme consistent.
It's
You
one
say
of
this
the
like you don't have access to like a calendar or
Well, it's funny,
Google.
it's really ironic that you say that, Tom, because
No,
you
no,
asked
no,
me to
I
do
know.
everything for you.
Yeah,
So, like
you're not
everything,
the
like
only one.
yeah, you're like, where do I get diapers? I'm like, Tom, you got to figure out the family stuff on your own, man. I don't
Yeah,
know why you're
I
asking
just
me
usually
that
let the
one.
child use my own
Yeah.
supply.
Yeah, I will say there was a little bit of a micro debacle when it came to the player meeting time, because when I was doing all the scheduling, it was before daylight savings, and then everything shifted, and I had to go back through and change the UTC plus
I don't
to
blame you.
subtract one, and then GMT was offset, and people were like, "Well, when is the actual player meeting? When does it actually start?" And I was sending emails to all the players like, "This is the time you should show up." So we did technically start an hour earlier than we initially had planned, but it all worked out. I don't think anybody
No,
missed it because of that, but that was a little confusing for a hot second when people
I
were
don't
supposed to
blame you
show up.
though. Like it's a pain in the ass. Like it's so annoying trying to like align all the time zones, especially with like daylight savings and all that crap coming
Oh
around.
yeah.
It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, and people have asked for like a countdown, and what a countdown timer is good, but um people won't like, do I do the countdown timer for the player meeting or do it for when it starts? If I do it for when it starts, then people are not going to show up for the player meeting and check in on time, and it's just like
Sure.
it's a mess. So but we survived. It wasn't too bad, but that gave me a little bit of
Well,
stress. I
weirdly,
was
it all
doing a
worked
lot
out.
of that stuff on my phone because I was traveling in and out of the office that day, and everyone's complaining about the confusion of the time zones. I'm like, shit, I'm not even at my computer right now. Like I have to do this from my phone.
Well, it all worked out, didn't it? So that's fine. Surprisingly, despite all the kerfuffle, actually, no one missed out. So
No one
well
missed
done.
out. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and well done to both you guys. Andrew, your dedication to getting up early, and you did it right. You got the sleep you needed, and it's been nice to have you, representing us and playing. And I'm definitely hopeful that I think the next one you'll break through the 2-2 hill. It can feel hard to get past.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Like I'm happy I'm doing as well as I'm doing, given the field of competitors that are out there and the caliber of players. So yeah, I mean,
My
all
advice:
I'm
just keep flying the same thing.
yeah,
just
honestly,
just keep flying the same list over and over again. That is
Yeah,
how.
because if you change it, it could be like a reset, a little bit of a reset button. Sometimes you risk that
sure.
at least. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. it's one of those funny things too, where whenever you switch what you're playing, you have to not only relearn that old list, and yeah, sometimes that can help you understand like what your competitors are trying to do. But honestly, I've been flying it this last list too because I was making those changes for the other online leagues that I'm in. So I'm like, all right, I might as well stick with this just to learn it as best I can.
Yeah, and playing in those leagues gives you the benefit of practice anyways, just purely
Big
because
time.
you're there,
Yeah,
right?
that's honestly what it was. And like the biggest thing that's helped me just so far is, I mean, I've been just doing a mission for myself to try to get in a game of X-Wing at least every day.
Every
Even if it
day.
is,
Oh wow.
yeah, even if it is on flight casual. I this last weekend I got a little hung up at work, so I was only able to do that like 3 out of the 7 days. But otherwise, I've been sticking with it, and I have seen my skill level. I feel has improved quite a bit.
That's awesome. Feels good when you can feel that shift as well.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, getting the reps in, that's just been the biggest part of it.
Practice.
Something that's sort of massive for me that Mr. Daniel Athe he didn't directly tell me to do it, but I sort of seen him do it. Is I just go into TTS and I map out multiple potential turn zeros
Mhm.
with rocks, like where each movement puts me in place of like which rocks I place. You know how separatist players always have their rock placements.
Mhm.
The first few turns for me, I know exactly where my ships are going to go. It's less mental strain for me. I know roughly where things are going to be based on what movements they do, and I think it really can help. Like
Oh,
sometimes not even just playing a game against someone, just the theory of turn zero, turn one against hypothetical meta lists has been massive.
Yeah.
yeah, that's great advice.
So yeah, if you can't you know trash on someone in GSP TTS looking for game, then
Or in
then
our own
I'd
server
highly
too, you
recommend that.
know. Don't forget where you are, Tom. You could
Right.
any
Yeah.
of the servers are good for fighting games, honestly.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
or just
Um,
really. There's so many servers now that you can
I
get in.
know. Yeah, our I was just looking at the size of our Discord server. I was pretty blown away. I was like, "Holy
Massive.
crap, ours is huge now in terms of the amount of people in it." The LFG channel is always popping now. It seems like everyone's looking for games at the wrong time, though. It's very like maybe one in every like 10, someone's like, "I'll play." My favorite was when somebody LFGs and then 5 minutes later someone else LFGs. I'm like, "Are you not going to acknowledge the person that 5 minutes ago who was also looking for a
I
game?"
I think people tactically dodge people sometimes.
Ah,
Yeah,
Oh, I don't like. If hypothetically Illy or someone puts in, well, I don't want to play Illy.
yeah,
I,
right. It's not so
you know, I,
casual.
yeah, I'm not looking to get tickled this evening.
well, I mean, at that point, I'd be like, a fly casual is great, and um, but I was gonna say, I think a lot of people also just you get a DM if you put an LFG, and then they're like, hey,
Yeah,
I can play, and then they just don't like go back to the stream to say that they found a game or anything. So I think
Yeah.
that's also happening like 50% of the time. It's been pretty rare that I've gone on looking for a game and I'm just like getting left on red.
yeah.
I get left. I stopped looking for games.
I heard I
I
get
had
left on
one
red.
player. I'll never stop calling Joe Barkovich out for this, but I had a player who was looking for a game, and I told him I'd play him, and he said no thanks because he didn't want to play me. He didn't want to lose to me, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll go fuck myself. And then he immediately picked up a game with somebody else like 5 seconds later, and I was like,
Dude,
but I wanted to play X-Wing. Like, fine, okay.
imagine, imagine that. Oh yeah, I'll have a friendly game with you. No, not what I was looking for. Sorry, dude.
Sorry, no. Like,
Well, uh,
okay.
you're too good. Yeah.
Well, that was his excuse. It's like,
I
dude, I'm not gonna bring anything super sweaty. I just felt like playing because my motivation to play X-Wing on a daily basis is very different from you guys these days, just because X-Wing is a very different beast for me nowadays. So when I do look for a game, it's rare, and so it feels bad when you get shot down like that. You're like, I don't feel
I
like playing anymore. Like that's it. I had the window of opportunity to want to play, and it's gone. It's past.
this sounds really bad, but as you probably know, I'm super competitive.
Hmm.
So sometimes when I'm looking for games, like I'll sort of wait until someone I know, um, like I'll wait for that Illy or Crispy or Corton to look for a game before I yeah,
Sure.
I'll play it. I every game for me matters, so
Yeah.
it's sort of
Yeah.
like I'm trying to improve something. So I want to play the best.
Exactly. Like that's my mentality with it is like, I'm always looking to play the best players I possibly can because those are the games that I'll learn the most from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say for me, like, I feel fortunate enough where my local meta is, Nick, it's Marcel, it's Steven, it's
Yeah.
Wyland, where when we go to like when I went to LVO 2 years ago with Nick, like half the people, or we had like 8 people who are just our locals that showed up there too. So,
Yeah.
every
Their
every
odds of
major
playing them are
tournament is
high.
also partly a local tournament. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
This is the similar thing for me. I mean, because England's so densely, well, we're just smaller, right? We're all closer together, but
Yeah.
especially up where I am, like my local scene is like Kez, Dan, Jack, like Elliot, stuff like that. And then we've got like Sith Takers who are
Yep.
just literally down the door, and then we have like the York Garrison lot. But like anyone in England as well, like
Sure.
it's so easy to get a game in like in person, which is great. um,
Yeah, and that's incredible. And that just like helps your game so much.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but I would be remiss without mentioning just kind of what's coming up on the horizon for us as the Gotham City Conquest is next month. On June 21st, that's going to be New York based. So that's UTC -4 hour, aka Eastern time. And those tickets are starting to pick up. So make sure you guys check out the Gotham City Conquest. And everything through September has been announced. The Middle Earth Conquest is in September. And that's going to be a really fun one because that'll be an evening start for us in Chicago as it's in Auckland, New Zealand based online event. So still plenty of opportunity to get in and play. If you missed out on the first couple, well, by the end of it, I'm not sure how many excuses you'll still have. Lots of opportunities to play. I would love to have you guys. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm just giving people a hard time. I understand that people make plans. The weekends are the weekends, but you know what? It's just a good way to support XWA, to support us, get content out there, and to watch the new stuff getting played in all of the different ways that people are experimenting with right now. It's just
Yeah.
generally just been really good for X-Wing to have something like this, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do it moving forward. Is there anything you guys wanna
Might be
wanna
cheeky.
say as we wrap up to throw it over to you and
Yeah.
Tom, the
Yeah.
champ, and Andrew?
Uh, well, I would like to shout out a tournament that we're running. Um, it's not online, but I mean, you can come to it anyway if you want to. But Dan said I had to shout it out, otherwise I wasn't allowed to make this appearance. So uh, on the 5th and 6th of July, we're running Steel City Squadrons, which is a 2-day team tournament. Teams of three, and then there's a top cut for day two, essentially. So if you're listening to this and you know fancy it, uh, come do it. You get the chance to play me and beat me, and if I lose, I'll probably cry. So that's probably an incentive, right? So yeah. So I just wanted to shout that out. That's all. And thank you, Nick, for running the tournament and letting me win twice.
You're welcome. I don't know if I can do it again. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah. Well, we'll see what the
mentally
PayPal
straining.
check. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my 3 pounds, as they like to say, and a couple of shillings.
Fuck off.
Could I get an yeah, yeah?
Oh,
All right. What about
dude,
you,
I
Andrew?
fucking hate it. Honestly. Jesus
No,
Christ.
I'm good. I think that's that's a good place to end it.
Just that.
Yes. Yeah, just end on yeah. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody, thank you so much for listening to what I believe is episode 30.
It sure
That's
is.
nice. That's a nice ripe number. Episode 30 of the 312 Squadron podcast. Uh, Thank you to both Andrew and Tom for jumping on. Tom, congratulations on winning the
Thank you.
Crumpet Conquest and your team wanking their way to the championship in the Team League Season 3. Lots of accolades for the wankers and the wanky, apparently.
Yeah.
Other things, guys, to keep in mind when it comes to supporting us, obviously subscribing to YouTube, joining the conversation in Discord, liking us on Facebook are all very good ways to stay in touch with us and support us. Being in the Twitch chat when you're able to watch live goes a long ways. But if you want some cool stuff, you can also check out our Patreon. We got some beautiful Paul LaRue cards coming this month. This quarter is Q2 is about to kick off. We have 4 cards for 4 different pilots. We got Mando, we've got Poe, we've got Bo Katan, and we've got one more. We're gonna have to look it up to see the 4th one because I'm drawing a blank. But the middle and top tier patrons also get a beautiful acrylic base plate for the Mandalorian in the N1. So
Ooh.
consider supporting us there. It really just came in the mail a few days ago, and they are really, really nice. So that is going to do it for us for this episode. Join us for the next Conquest and sign up for the Conquest series. All of this information is going to be in the description. And you can even listen on YouTube now as we finally are able to get that linked up. Every episode is on YouTube. So if you don't have a Spotify, don't have an Apple podcast, etc., subscription, you can go to YouTube to listen to these episodes. My name is Nick Sperry.
And I'm Andrew Kouba.
And I'm Tom. I feel.
And we'll catch you all on the Flipper Day Flip. Goodbye, governor.
See you later.
Toodaloo.